Have you ever wanted to listen to two random dudes on the internet talk about their views?
Well, I'm Matt.
And I'm Bill.
And this is the Two Dudes with a View podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Thursday episode of the Two Dudes with a View podcast. As always, my name is Matt. I'm joined by my lovely friend and co-host from down under me in Pennsylvania, Bill. How you doing tonight? Today,
Well, you said down under. I was about to say good day, but you said Pennsylvania, so
you're under me, so I mean it's close enough. How you doing?
Well, not too bad. Just about tired of this weather, though. Like every time I have a day off, it seems that it rains, so I can't get shit done.
I've yet to have rain in like the past week. It's been great.
Well,
it was today alone. It was 93 and sunny. So
I had off. What was it? Thursday, Saturday, and now I'm gonna have off tomorrow, which is Thursday again. And the plan on last Thursday and Saturday was to get the lawn done and get shit like spring cleaning done. Well, we got a lot of spring cleaning done, but the yard didn't get done. Now we wanted to mow tomorrow. The township came through and mowed the banks, and if you're not from the hillbilly land like I am, you mow your own banks. But here they come through with like farm tractor looking things or whatever that just are on a weird ass angle because the banks that lead from your yard to the road are kind of steep. So you just go through and plow it all down. And I'm like, oh, you know, the wife said to me yesterday, we were headed to work, she said that they came through and mowed. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So the plan was to mow tomorrow. Nope, we're going to have severe thunderstorms tonight, which is going to soak the ground. And we don't want to be driving a lawnmower on a fucking hill. And it's going to rain tomorrow afternoon, too. So, you know, just, it's good.
So what you're saying is Mother Nature just hates you.
Yeah, her clock is in sync with my days off.
Apparently. Yeah, like I said, today it was like 84 with real feel and 93. The pool was nice and chill, nice and cozy. It was great, you know. Just got to hang out. It was great. But yeah, we are supposed to get some thunderstorms tomorrow, which whatever. I don't got much planned anyway, so anywho, Thursday episodes. Now, we've talked about them before on some of the normal, regularly scheduled Monday episodes about what they're going to be and how they're going to be a little bit different than our normal episodes. Now, normally Mondays we come at you and we give you some top stories, things that we find interesting, things that we think you need to know about and think that you would benefit from hearing about and understanding. That's not what Thursday episodes are going to be. Thursday episodes are going to be quite different in the fact that we're not going to really be bringing you a set of news articles or just the top stories, right? You know, kind of as things quote unquote happen, even though they're a little bit delayed. It's not going to be like that. Thursday episodes are literally going to be me and Bill saying whatever comes to our mind, essentially, and just. We might start talking about, I don't know, just because I got it in front of me, Post-it notes, and might end up talking about how someone murdered someone. You never know. It's just going to kind of be a free-flowing, hour-long discussion between the two of us about some sort of topics that are going to obviously be different every week, that it's just going to spiral and see where it goes. And it's going to be our opinions on stuff. It's going to be our thoughts on things. And it's going to be stuff that we might not be able to cover Mondays because we run out of time or we think it just needs a longer discussion. That's what these Thursday episodes are for and what they're going to, you know, kind of entail. So that's...
Yeah, because normally during our Monday episodes, when we're recording them, we could go for 2 to 3 hours if we really wanted to because we never cover everything like the way that... When we get done, I'm always thinking, damn, I wish we would have said this or that. So this is a way we could just kind of throw it in there. And also, just a little PSA, this, even though our whole spiel is that we're uncut and uncensored and unfiltered, this is probably the MA-17 rating or whatever it is.
Yeah, this is Monday episodes. We bring again news articles and things that we think are important for you guys to understand, but we still kind of do it in like a 16 plus type of way. We don't swear a whole lot. Yeah, we do swear a little and drop some language, but it's not going to be like Thursday episodes are. And again, all of our episodes are viewer discretion is advised, and we recommend that. This is not for like 2-year-olds to listen to. This is two men talking about things that we find important, right? So just keep that in mind for this episode as well as future Thursday episodes. Now, Monday episodes are not changing. They're going to be their same old episodes. They're going to be the same way. They're not changing whatsoever. We're just adding in an extra hour of content for you guys. That's all. But with that being said, let's jump right into it. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, let's hit it.
You got your beer next to you?
I got definitely. Okay. I got a couple of them. I went and got some just for tonight.
He was worried because before we started recording, he almost dropped it, and I kind of laughed at him, and he said, "Don't laugh, I'm gonna cry." So, you got tissues next to you too, just in case.
That'd have been, well, I got a roll of paper towels. Does that count?
I guess so. I got the same. So, anywho, I want to just jump right into this Thursday episode and talk about something we covered. Actually, in a couple episodes, but specifically dating way back, and this is going to sound extremely old, but the first episode, we talked about it, as well as we kind of brought it back in episode 4, and then we've scattered it in throughout, just little pieces and parts there. But that's the whole issue that's still going on in Russia and Ukraine. That thing that people have kind of forgotten about as time's gone on. That was again 10, now going to be 11 episodes ago. So well over 2.5 months ago that we started talking about this. And it seemed like it only lasted about the average time that I thought something like this was going to last. It was only be a month. And now it seems like everyone's kind of forgot about it, and no one really quite cares what's going on over there or what we as a country are doing and sending over there anymore. Like it just seems like we fell off. I read a thing today, actually, before we started recording. Me and Bill were talking about this. Supposedly the U.S., and I'm taking it with a grain of salt until it's confirmed, because you know how these things are. Apparently we're sending another $1 billion worth of weapon support over there to Ukraine, which, listen, I'm all for helping people out when needed, but we gotta, come on, man, we gotta take care of ourselves too, don't we? I mean, just look at the shit that's happened in the past 2.5 months here in our own country, let alone across the world. Like, you would think that $1 billion could be a little bit more useful here than in some other places, don't you think? Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, what irritates me about it, and no, don't get me wrong now, the people in Ukraine need as much help as they can get, and they're getting a lot of it. And for us people that have to go out and, do the daily grind, the word billion is a lot.
Yeah.
And we're sending billions of dollars. That's great. But when there's people sitting at home that are like, shit, gas prices are $6 or $5.50 a gallon or whatever the hell they are wherever you live, we could probably fix this. And the people in Ukraine deserve it. And if what I look at when I see it, because obviously when it first happened, that was worldwide news. Holy shit, Russia's gonna do this, and oh my god, what's the world gonna do? But
we also knew like 2 months in advance that it was gonna happen. It's not like it came out of the blue.
The thing was, like everybody said, and this is both sides, whether you listen to CNN or you listen to Fox or you listen to any political affiliations aside, both sides of the news were saying the same thing. Was holy shit, what's going to happen when this happens? When Russia does cross that line, what's going to happen? One side says we're not going to do nothing. The other side says we're going to do a bunch. And it turns out the side that said we're going to do a bunch was kind of right. But we also did nothing, because if all these countries that are sending arms and stuff. So if Putin decided he wanted to have a bad day and he said, well, fuck them, they're giving them ammo that's killing our shit, or breaking our tanks and killing our people and making us look like fools, launch a missile to them, right? Like, so sending money and funding, helping fund the war, and sending ammo and launching systems and all these things, that we're essentially fighting the war without pulling the trigger.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So, but why don't we just say, all right, collectively as a group of freedom countries, say these guys deserve their freedom. We're sending, each country send 100,000 troops. That's not a lot in the grand scope of things. So if each country sends 100,000 troops, that country, like Russia, would have no choice but to get the hell out, which would make them look terrible, which would probably start that war that everybody's afraid is going to happen. But I don't know. I just think to me, it's stupid to avoid. So if you feel your belly rumbling and you know you have to take a shit, are you going to go out and do something, or are you going to go take a shit?
I get you there.
That's where I'm at. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. Don't pussyfoot around, because all that's happening is Russia is taking over parts of Ukraine. That there's no denying that. They're slowly but surely getting to the goal. And all you hear on the news is, they blew up 12 tanks and they killed this many people and took this many hostages, but they don't tell you the bad part. They make it look like everything we're doing to help them is they're going to win the war.
Yeah, well, a couple of points on that, because you covered a lot. I'll start backwards. Starting with like how they're covering it, it's we all know that media always finds a way that's going to appeal to people, right? Regardless of what the situation is, and we've seen it with specifically the last few weeks when we've talked about the shootings, specifically in Buffalo and in other places. We've seen how they've covered that. We talked about, specifically you, Bill, about the hate crime issues, and just to kind of veer real quick on that, he was charged with federal hate crimes today. So that can be a whole nother thing. But we've seen how the media plays into the fact that they want to present these things in a certain way that's going to get views, right? That's their entire job. They're media. So they don't care if it's 100% accurate. They're just going to do that. Now, moving back to, what you said, Russia, I don't think Russia honestly cares that their own troops are dying. And the reason I say that is we've seen Ukraine has supposedly killed numerous generals, Russian generals, high-ranking Russian generals on the ground, essentially leading the field operations for this entire quote-unquote military movement that they're doing, or whatever they're calling it nowadays. I don't even know. And we've also seen that specifically Putin and some of his high-ranking officials have removed other high-ranking officials that are back in Russia. Some have not been heard from since. Others have, but it doesn't sound promising. So I don't really think that Russia cares at this point. I think I'm still going on the fact that Putin got some pretty bad news, and that he just doesn't care what happens to other people at this point, but he wants to go out on his own terms and not push that red button. Or he's just going to wait till the last second and then push that red button.
I was going to say, if he does have, this whole, like a lot of people say, cancer or whatever, that he found out he's dying and he just doesn't care no more. If once he starts feeling like, hey, this is probably the end of it, he could just order a nuclear, just launch the rockets. Who cares? I'm going to be dead anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
I mean, it's already been proven in this militaristic movement that these are young people on both sides, but we've seen it. It's young people on the Russian side, young, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds specifically, that had no idea, again, supposedly, because I don't believe everything, supposedly are 15, 16, 17-year-olds that have no clue why they're there. Just all of a sudden one day they're like, hey, you're going to Ukraine, get over there now. So it's pretty clear, at least in my eyes, that he doesn't care. Putin doesn't care what's going on. I think he's just having some fun before that, whatever he has, whether it be some sort of cancer or whatever, comes, and then, like you said, he just says, well, I don't feel so good, it's coming. Boop. There's the button.
Yeah, push the button.
Because he doesn't, like I said, he clearly doesn't care about the troops, the young children and teenagers and kids that he sent over there to fight. So why would he care about the other, specifically women and children that are sitting back in Russia, just, and I would say enjoying life, but they're probably not enjoying life. They live in Russia under him, so.
It's a scary thought, though. It's a scary thought.
Oh, very.
I live like 4.5, 5 hours, depending on traffic and all that, away from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not very far from Washington D.C. So,
well, I guess this is the one time.
Any country that has a nuke, you can almost guarantee they have one dialed in to Washington D.C.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I guess this is the one time it's good to live in New York, where everyone's just a fucking idiot and there's nothing important here. I mean, I guess that's a plus, but. Yeah, I mean, you got a point. Listen, I don't know the science to nuclear weapons, but I do know that there are thousands of weapons stored up around this world. That there's probably a couple hundred that have coordinates programmed to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, with their own button that are just ready to go. But I mean. I mean, it's kind of a sketchy thought, you would think,
So what happens then if Putin's like, oh, United States pissed me off, hoo ha he, and then launches missiles, but before he does it, he gets a hold of China and says, hey, they're about to fuck you up because you're trying to take over Taiwan, so you better join me and help me, and then China launches nukes.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on that, because I wanted to talk about this, and I completely forgot a couple episodes ago when that whole thing was going on. We've heard the story that, China ideally would like Taiwan. Like, that's their end goal. No different than kind of Russia wanting Ukraine. But here's the thing. I don't see, at least in the couple months that this whole Russia-Ukraine thing's going on, I don't see the fact that China really wants to get involved with Russia, right? Like, they're pretty close neighbors. They are pretty, I mean, they're both large, quote-unquote, superpowers, I guess, in different ways. But we've seen some dialogue between the two, and it's really not been like China provoking them. It's really kind of just been China like sitting back and saying, well, dude, you kind of got yourself into this. It's your own battle to kind of pick. I got my own issues going on type deals. So I don't think China and Russia are really going to conspire together on a big red button. I think if he's going to do it, it's literally, he's not going to waste time. He's not going to call someone. He's just going to push it and say, game over. I'm done with this. That's at least my theory, my thoughts on it.
Well, I hope you're right, but I just have this. See, I grew up in the time of the Cold War kind of thing. Like, I grew up while that was still happening. So I remember parts of it, but not a whole lot of it. I just think that two communist countries, and you can call Russia whatever you want, but they might as well be the SSR again, the Soviets.
I mean, that's what they're trying to get. So
right.
So
goal. they're basically democratic communist country, if that makes any damn sense.
Well, I mean, they
But-
were a democratic country, and then he kind of changed the rules to make it whatever he wanted. So,
But China is a communist party. It's always been. It's always been communist China. It's
oh
like,
yeah, 100%.
It's run so democratically that it's hard to remember that it's actually a communist country. But there's not very many communist countries left in the world. Like even North Korea, you can't even classify that a communist country because they don't do nothing. Like they are. That's why they're called the hermit country. They're to themselves.
That's literally a dictatorship that is like.
They don't want their people to know there's other countries out there.
Yeah, they're a dictatorship that's literally isolated themselves from the rest of the world. Which, hey, I mean, if that's what floats their boat, that floats their boat. Just don't fuck with me. That's all I ask. I mean, that's clearly worked well in the past, but you know, be all right.
But my what I was getting to was because these two superpowers that are both essentially communist countries, one is, the other is like right on the tipping point. They kind of have to like take each other's sides, I guess. You know, you got the same situation in Russia, or rather in China. China wants to invade Taiwan, but they didn't yet. But Russia invaded Ukraine, so now China's probably like, oh shit, if we go to Taiwan,
yeah, I
the rest of the world's going to send these bastards money and weapons, and we might actually get made to look like a fool like Russia.
Yeah, I think China, like I said, China hasn't, and I mean, kind of good for them. They haven't provoked Russia in any way. Like, you know, you all remember high school where you're sitting in back, right? And your friend's getting ready to fight with someone, and you're just sitting back, like, not loudly, but just kind of throwing some stuff like, hey, you know, remember he did this, or remember he did that, or like, hey, just go beat the shit out of him, you know? China is not doing that. You would expect, like you said, you know, they're essentially both communist countries. You would essentially think that they would do that. And we haven't seen that. Like I said, they kind of just sat back and said, hey, listen, we got our own shit going on. You kind of fucked yourself here, so figure it out and get back to us type of deal. Which is, again, good. I mean, good on them for not really provoking it, but does that piss Putin off more now because he doesn't have, you know, he might have some support, but he doesn't have the full support now, or at least what he thought he would have from the get-go. That's a thought. Is he just pissed off more about that now and just getting closer?
It's scary though. Like, if you don't know what's going on, like us as just normal people, we can only say what we're being told.
Well, and you also got to think, you know, us as normal people are probably about a month behind, you know, intelligence-wise, at least, right? I mean, that's the one thing that we knew going into this Russia-Ukrainian war is that, you know, we knew for months as a general public that this was going to happen. We knew long before it actually happened that it was going to happen. So if we knew that, what did our military intelligence say? And how long before that did they say, hey, yeah, this is going to happen, so, like, let's start signing checks and sending money and stuff? Because by the time it happened, we had already sent stuff over there. We had already sent guns and ammo and all this other stuff, and then we sent it again officially on the docket so that Russia kind of essentially saw that we were helping them, and then obviously other countries joined and whatnot. Now we're just sending them more money. But we had already prepared for it. We already knew it was going to happen. We had set everything up to do it. And again, as us as the general public knew 2 months in advance this was going to happen, let alone what the military knew. So, I mean, potentially the military could know right now, like, hey, this shit's about to go down. You know, let's prepare internally for it before we create mass hysteria. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Well, and our news here in the United States isn't going to tell us, you know,
No.
oh, by the way, they're fixing to blow us the fuck up. Like, they're not going to say that.
Why the
They're
fuck
going to
would
tell
they?
us, Right, they're going to say, "Oh, well, Russia's been a little bit more provocative than they have been,
Listen,
but we don't see no indications that they're going to do anything crazy." Meanwhile, they're up there thinking about doing some crazy shit. Like,
listen, our
the thing that
society.
sucks is the people in Russia are the ones that are getting screwed over.
Oh,
Like the
100%.
normal people that actually care about life and want to live their life, because one man decided to be an asshole. The rest of the world said, "Screw Russia, you guys get nothing. You got to pay a bunch of money. You can't use none of our stuff. You're your own hermit country, basically North Korea." Uh, and here you are.
Yeah.
Now they're up there suffering because one dude decides to be a dickhead.
Yeah, and I had a quite a few foreign exchange students when I was in high school, including my senior year. We had one from Russia. Super nice girl, like probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. But even like she said it, she's like, "Yeah, I have to deal with legit assholes." No, that wasn't exactly her wording, but you know, paraphrasing. She's like, "Yeah, I have to deal with assholes, and it's annoying." Like she even said it herself. You know, one person, and again, we talked about this earlier. I mentioned it earlier. You know, it essentially was a democratic country in the fact that I guess they kind of elected people, but then he just went in and changed the rules and said, "Hey, I'm president until I don't want to be," essentially. Which I guess, I mean, if you have that power, just go ahead, I guess. Whatever floats your boat, but
Well, they say
don't be a
it's
dick.
an open
So
election. They say it's an open election. You can go vote for whoever you want. But what they've also said too is that, you know, he has such influence that he can say, "Get rid of however many votes that it takes for somebody to beat me."
well, also, do you think people are gonna, vote against them if they got the threat of potentially, just getting ripped from their home and never seen from again? I mean, that's a possibility too. Didn't think about that.
And that's the sad thing, right? That's where political lines are stupid.
Oh,
And
100%.
people are like Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. Everybody that believes in one side or the other is guilty of it because, you know, both parties do nothing about it. They just leave it go, "Well, they haven't done nothing, so just ignore it." But then when something happens, then we're sitting here going, "Well, if we would have taken care of this before, would this be a problem?" You know, and it's so backwards to even think that we're in a position now that something that could have been avoided. And you hear these conspiracy theory pricks say, "Well, it's because Trump lost the election. That's why Russia went and acted like this." What? What? Sorry, go ahead. I don't, because what did that have to do with Russia?
I mean, listen. At this point, I don't trust I don't even trust my own country. I don't trust a goddamn country in this world, with the exception of like I was gonna say Australia, but I don't even trust them either. They got boxing kangaroos, so I mean, honestly, I might trust North Korea more than anyone because at least they're open about their intentions half the time. So, I mean, they have state-run media and hide things. I mean, I guess essentially we do too in a way. They hide things, and a lot of the media corporations are owned by wealthy billionaires, anyways, that pay to get their own shit put on. But yeah, I mean, maybe I do trust North Korea more than some countries because they're open.
Like Cat Williams said, and if you don't know who the hell Cat Williams is, he's a comedian. So just look him up. But he said in one of his stand-ups, and I'm gonna do my best to paraphrase it almost verbatim. So there you go. There's two big words all at one time.
Wow.
But he basically said politicians are like a bunch of pimps. They can convince you that you should go out and have sex for money, and you're not doing nothing wrong. You're helping the country. Right. And that's essentially what politicians do. They tell you a bunch of bullshit to make you feel good or to ease your pain. "Oh, I'll fight for you. We'll get wages up and I'm going to reduce crime and all this stuff." And then nothing happens. Or "I'm going to go in there and change it and we're going to be more transparent," and nothing happens. But they say it every 4 years or whatever the terms are. And every 4 years, they'll say the same damn thing and they'll get reelected, even though the people are like, well, this dickhead didn't do nothing for me last time he said he was going to do it. But you know what? Maybe he means it this time, so we'll give him a shot. And that's what politicians are, both sides, Democrat, Republicans. They ain't nothing but a bunch of liars and a bunch of pimps.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And I think we've seen that specifically the last 2 years with that issue, where they will legit just say anything under the sun to get elected. I mean, for some people it's worked. I won't throw names out there, but for some people it's worked. Others not so much. But yeah, I mean, their job is essentially to lie and pay a lot of money to other large companies to lie for them, and then get these non-profit groups to lie for them. It's the name of the game now. You know?
Hell, when a politician doesn't get elected to office, he should go to the nearest TV station or radio station and become a meteorologist for him, because that's nothing better than a meteorologist.
Exactly.
Them some bitches, they could be wrong 99% of the time. People will still tune in to hear what they say.
They don't even have to do work. They don't even have to do work. They just say, yeah, it might rain, it might not. 50% chance. It's either going to rain or it's not, or it's going to snow or it's not. I mean, that's...
Oh, well, it's cold enough to snow, so there's a chance of afternoon showers.
Yeah. Right?
And that's what a politician is. Well, there's a chance I'll do something for you, but maybe not. You just have to see when it gets there. And so once they don't get reelected, or if they decide to step, I'm not going to run for office no more, just go be a meteorologist. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to lie to people, and people are still going to tune in to listen to what you have to say.
If I was a meteorologist, and I'm not, but if I was a meteorologist, I would literally just go on to one of the national apps and get all my information from there and then just present it. Save me a lot of work. I'd get paid the same, but it'd save me a lot of work, right?
Well, that's what a lot of them do here in the United States. A lot of them go off of whatever is reported by the National Weather Service.
And they're a bunch of idiots anyways there, so I guess that explains it.
It's not like they're actually sitting in front of a computer looking at storm patterns. They walk into a building, they record whatever, if it's going to be on the radio, they record their little 2-minute segment of the weather for, tonight, tomorrow, and here's 3 days worth of forecast. Monday rain, Tuesday rain, Wednesday sunny. They don't tell you shit, they just tell you what you want to hear.
Oh yeah, that sounds like literally everything else in the news agency.
And you get the bastards on TV that are looking at a screen and pointing, over here is going to be this, and we have record highs in this location, this location.
I will give them that though. You ever been in front of a green screen? You know how hard it is to point at something you don't know exists?
I'm sure that's kind of tricky.
That shit is annoying. Let me just tell you that. Anywho, carry on.
They have one useful skill.
Well, I wouldn't call it useful. It's only a select few places you could do it, but I mean...
But basically, that's what it is. There just ain't nothing... Everybody's a bunch of goddamn liars.
Well, I mean... America, home of the free. No, America, home of the liars.
Here's something that happens around me that's amazing, and I can't believe nobody else. I'm sure a lot of people have noticed it, but there's this thing that's going on around on the radio, and they do it every day or whatever, but it's, they'll call you, and if it's your birthday, you'll win $100, but one day a week, it's $1,000. And you won't believe how many times they call people and it's their fucking birthday.
I know, right? I know. They call me.
I'm not. Up?
They call me. I'm either A, not going to answer it in the first place because I just don't care, or B, they ask me, hey, is it your birthday? Fuck yeah, it's my birthday. Why not?
Yeah, give me a $300. You're damn right, it's my birthday. They do that for the cash, and they're also doing. I forget what it is. It's like a $100 or $500. No, I think it's $100 gas card, and then once a week they do a $500 gas card or $1,000 gas card. And everybody they talk to on the radio somehow wins. You've never hear on the radio, at least around me. You never hear somebody not get the answer right. Like when they
Oh,
do
no.
the here, we're gonna play 10 seconds of a movie. Be caller 9 and tell us the name of the movie, and you'll win this prize.
It's always
the person always gets it right.
It's the first. It's not caller 9. It's the first person to answer it correctly. Like
Basically, yeah. And then we'll put you on the radio, and then make sure though that you say the radio station. What station made you a winner today?
Yeah.
Oh, WF your face. All right.
Yep. Gotcha journalism. That's what I call it.
Yep.
They gotcha hook, line, and sinker.
Like, this is messed up because, well, nobody that I work with is going to know this, or nobody that I work with is going to listen to this, but there's a person that I work with that's dating a host of a radio station. So, and this coworker said that she has bottles of wine that she can't drink because it's stuff that's left over from contests that are given away. So I'm not saying that radio stations are like picking winners, but I feel like if you're not going to constantly put somebody on your radio. Can you imagine if we said, hey, anybody's listening to this, just come into our Discord and we're just going to randomly pick up one of you and say, you're going to go live with us and we're going to record and we're going to ask you questions that you're not predisposed to and make you look like an asshole in front of the world.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's what these the radio stations aren't going to be like, hey, Matt, who was the 13th president of the United States and who was the guy that made his shoes? You're not going to be like, shit. I don't know.
No, I'm going to be like, it was John Henry VII. Like, yeah.
Yeah, the person always has the answer, and they always know the answer to no matter whatever question it is, ludicrous or as irrelevant of a question it is, they know the answer.
Yep.
Because if they put a bunch of idiots on there, first it makes them look bad, and it makes the community that is the listening area look bad.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna propose something. Instead of two things actually. Instead of America the free, home of the free, blah 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 blah, it's gonna be America home to the liars, and instead of the American flag, it's just gonna be a giant middle finger.
Yeah.
For our flag.
Well, it essentially is already like.
Well, yeah. I mean, the way that shit's going.
And now you just brought up flags. Have you noticed? Just Google world flags, and it's probably going to bring you to like a big collage of flags. Look how many of them are actually red, white, and blue, just in different patterns and designs.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at one right now. I have no clue what country it is, but I think it's the same amount of stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's got 13 stripes, and it's got the blue background where our stars are, but it's just got something different, just a different design. That's all.
Oh, this is great. This is perfect. This worked out great for me. So here we go. Radio time. Matt, why are there 13 stripes on the American flag?
For the original 13 colonies.
You son of a bitch. You win a free gas card.
Please, I'll take the gas card. Cost me $75 to fill up the other day. Fucking ridiculous.
So this is funny. What was it? I pulled up to the gas pump the other day and somebody pumped $100. And I can't remember what the hell it was they got. Brandy.
I saw someone.
How much gas was on there for when that guy? 16 gallons of gas for $100.
That's about right, because I got 14 for like 75. So I saw someone. I didn't see him, but I pulled up next to the pump, and I look over to the other one that's right next to it. Someone pumped $2 in gas and got like a third of a gallon, and must have said, "Nope, fuck this," and drove away. Because it was just
pisses me off.
Just sitting there at $2, and it had like point something gallons, and like, yeah, someone's not happy.
I can remember when I first got my driver's license, I could put $10 in gas a week and drive to and from work, and then still have gas to drive to and from where I wanted, as long as I wasn't being ridiculous about it. Now I pull up to a gas station. 2 days ago, I put $30 in. I am almost ready to put another $30 in my vehicle. And all I did was drive back and forth to work and to the beer shop 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is somebody has to say, something ain't right. And I don't even give a shit about midterms. Like, I'm not worried about midterms. Those pimps can lie all they want. Ain't nobody getting in there and saying we're going to fix gas prices because Biden decided to sign an executive order shutting down the Keystone Pipeline. Now, what they could do is they could form like I forget what it's called, a caucus or something like that or whatever, and basically force the president to overturn a policy. But he could just veto it because the president always has veto ability. So it's not going to matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't foresee anything good coming from anything for the next year, at least. Like bill wise, I'm saying. I just don't foresee anything good coming from any of it.
I've been buying 15 packs of Budweiser for $11.99 for the past 5 years. As long as they don't fuck around and raise the price of that,
listen,
you're not going to have a mutiny from me.
I drink Arizona, Arnold Palmer, Arizona half and half iced tea, right? 99 cents for the large can, right? That's what it's always been as long as I can remember. I went into a store today, bought one. It didn't have the 99-cent sticker like marked on the can, like it's printed on the can, and the price was $1.29. And I about lost my shit. Like,
funny you say that because when me and Brandy first got together, she told me, and for people listening, Brandy's my wife, in case I say Brandy and you guys are lost, but she told me that her and her mom had this running thing that if she gets pregnant and it's a girl, the girl's name must be Arizona after the Arizona tea. So
listen,
that's just funny you said that.
I drink this shit so much, like by the bottle a day. And when I saw that it was $1.29, it was like someone stabbed me in the heart. Now, it's the first time I've seen it at $1.29, so I hope it's just that one place like upselling it. But it wasn't printed on the can, which kind of concerned me a little. But I mean, that they've kept those at 99 cents for as long as I've been alive and drinking this that I can remember. It was $1. That I thought gas prices were bad. Man, I can't walk in with a dollar bill now, hand it to him, and say keep the penny. Like that was a exciting part of my life.
We had a thing when I was a kid called the 99-cent store. A lot of people might think that it's the same as Dollar General, but it was called the 99-cent store. And when you went into it, everything in there was 99 cents. You go to the register, it costs you $1 because that's what you had to pay.
Yeah.
And because it's 6 cents on the dollar, so anything under $1, there's no tax to. So everything in the store was 99 cents. I remember drinking brisk tea. Basically the same thing as what you get, but I would get them in the bottles. And I would work at a freight station where I'd unload train cars. In the wintertime, it was cold as shit. In the summertime, it was hotter than hell.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So in the summertime, we would go right across the train tracks, essentially, to a Sunoco, which is now here in Pennsylvania. All Sunocos are now 7-Elevens. I would go over there and buy like 2 of them, bring them back, stick one in the fridge, and have one to drink. So I'd spend $2 a day just on teas. If you ever drank brisk tea, you could drink a bottle. I don't know what it would be, like a 24-ounce bottle. I think they were big bastards. They were big bottles. I could drink that whole damn thing and not even realize I did it because it goes down so quick.
I just want to back up. Is it sad to say I've never been inside a 7-Eleven? Like the only place we have around here, like 7-Elevens, are down on like the south side of the city, and I don't find myself in that neighborhood quite often.
My question, now that we're talking about 7-Elevens, boy, these Thursday episodes are going to be all over the place. So I hope you guys got really good attention.
I hope you got good attention, some popcorn, and are just like laid back, just listening to this madness.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, we're talking about Sunoco's, because here in PA anyway, I'm not sure if it is how it is all over the country, but here in Pennsylvania, all of our Sunoco's became 7-Elevens, like they were bought out by 7-Eleven.
Yeah, up here, Sunoco's are literally just Sunoco.
Yeah, well, but the thing that it confuses me now, it makes me wonder, is the official gas of NASCAR was Sunoco.
It still is, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, but then why do we have 7-Elevens and
well, I still got Sunoco's up here, so I wonder if they just bought like the Regent.
maybe? Because I remember before they were Sunoco's, it was a company called Coastal. I don't know why. It literally was a big letter C with like in the gap of the C. So I guess in the Pac-Man mouth of the C was a weird gridded globe, and that was the Coastal symbol for like the Coastal March.
Huh.
And then it became Sunoco, and it was Sunoco for Jesus Christ, 20 years probably, and now all of a sudden I turn around and all Sunoco's are 7-Eleven. They still have like above the gas pumps. They still have the Sunoco symbols, but the places that sell Sunoco fuel are all 7-Elevens.
Listen, while we're on the gas station trends, I have gone through 2 major gas station mergers in my lifetime. The first one, and quite frankly, this was like a knife in the heart as well, was when Hess got bought out by Speedway. I don't know if you have either of those down where you are.
We used to have 2 Hesses where I lived, and my dad used to always, every year at Christmas time, they would come out, well, 2 times a year really. It was like the middle of summer and then Christmas time. So around now, like the 4th of July type deal, and then around Christmas, they would come out with 2 different
Test trucks.
die-cast
Yeah.
test truck, not plastic ones, but the metal ones.
Yeah, no, I got a couple of the old metal ones, and then I got a lot of the newer ones too. I got one every year. But yeah, so that was the first one when Hess got bought out by Speedway, and then Speedway went downhill quite a bit. At least around here it did. All the nice like Hess stations just went to complete crap. Poor management. Anyways, and then the one actually more recently, within the last year and a half, 2 years, was Circle K bought out Nice and Easy. And again, I don't know if you have either of those where you are. I know Nice and Easy was a New York thing. Like it started in New York, so I don't know if you actually have those down there. But Circle K bought out Nice and Easy, and kind of did the same thing that Speedway did with Hess. They took a lot of the features out, like the sandwich, like create a sandwich, the sub shop type area and whatnot. But they also, kind of kept everything clean. So I don't know. Those are my 2 major gas station things. That the Hess one really killed me though. I was
you
a
guys
Hess
have
fan.
Turkey Hills up there?
No.
Now
our major, at least around me and for most of upstate New York, like from Albany to Buffalo, your biggest ones are Speedway are pretty large. Nice and Easy's, which are now Circle K's, are mainly like just the central New York area. And then we have Burn Dairy, which is a very big New York chain. They're all over, again, essentially just upstate New York. And then the final one we have that is essentially the second biggest is called Stewart Shops, which is, again, an upstate New York thing. But Burn Dairy and Stewart's are probably the 2 biggest. I mean, you guys have Krispy Kremes every block down in Pennsylvania. We got a Burn Dairy or Stewart Shops every block up here. So
I have not seen it. Like, I have never seen or been in a Krispy Kreme place.
I have driven by so many, and every time they're either closed because it's super early or closed because it's super late. So I've yet to be inside one. But I've driven by hundreds, I say.
Our worst convenient area, like our convenient shop is, and I used to travel when me and the wife got together, I used to go to wrestling shows all the time. either as a promoter or to go there as a talent. And I used to always stop at like Wawa's.
Oh,
And
oh,
I am so not a
Wawa.
Wawa fan. If you like Wawa's, you are a fucking ding ding.
I agree.
And
Sheets is way better.
oh, I love Sheetz. That's where I go to get my beer every 2 days.
Listen, I'm not from Pennsylvania.
Although, hold on, let me hold this Sheetz thought real quick. So today I got off work, I drove up the highway, got some beer, came out in the car. On my way out of the parking lot so at Sheetz, if I put beer up and the wife hands me something, she has to have an ID too, because now all of a sudden she's part of the transaction, even though I'm the one paying for the stuff, right? So
well, did you know? Hold on, I gotta throw this in here when we're talking about carded. Did you know in New York you now have to be carded for the whipped cream, that like the canned whipped cream? You have to be 18 years or older and carded for that shit.
Oh, well, it took. I was sitting in the parking lot of Sheetz tonight. When I messaged you and said I'd be home by 10 o'clock, I was in the parking lot of Sheetz waiting for the wife to get out of Sheetz, and all she did was ordered 2 hot dogs from their MTO, and it took over 20 minutes. I'll repeat that again, over 20 minutes to make 2 hot dogs. Get your shit together, Sheetz.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. But I will say Sheetz is, listen, I'm not even from Pennsylvania. Shit, for me to get to the Pennsylvania border is like 2.5 hours, depending on which route I go. But I know, like, Sheetz is better, man. Come on. Wawa.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Wawa.
It's
anyway,
Wawa. Sounds like they're crying.
Yeah. Well, we can't get no customer.
I want my mommy. Yeah.
I think I just channeled my inner Devin just then.
Yeah, I think you did. Oh boy, we're gonna get demonetized, thrown off the air. It'll be all right.
Sue me, fire me. I'm already fired.
I mean, that's true. Anywho, you ready to wrap this up, Bill?
I think
it's been one hell of a fucking episode, if I tell you. Holy.
Got to save some shit for next week. Y'all better join the Discord. We ain't doing the same spiel as before. Join the Discord. He'll put a link to it in the description here. And
yeah, I would ask.
Don't want to miss that.
I would ask Bill to tell the favorite thing, but we're not scripted on these. We're not scripted on the other ones either, with the exception of the Discord. So we're not scripted at all here. So Bill, you can have a night off and having to do your whole spiel. How's that sound?
But I will at least say just join the Discord, and if you
definitely. And I'll mention it here. You know, I mentioned it on Monday's episode too, but we are starting to re-release all the episodes that we've recorded on our YouTube. I'll put a link to that below. Most of the episodes, it's the same audio. It's not edited in any way that way, but some of them, actually most of them, do have some sort of visual aids. Like when we talked about, for instance, the subway shooter that happened in New York City, we put, you know, a picture of what he was wearing, so on and so forth, that type of stuff, just to kind of, you know, there was an indictment up there that we put pictures of, so that way you got a little bit of a visual, you see what we're seeing, and it just helps you guys understand. So if you want to check that out, head to the YouTube, leave us some comments as well. There's already a bunch of comments over there, so we're replying to those. Send us emails too, topics you want to talk about, you want to hear us talk about, especially Thursday episodes. I mean, shit, we started talking about Ukraine and Russia and ended up on how Sheetz is better than Wawa. So, I mean, yeah, anything can happen.
I didn't even bring this up with you, Matt, so we're just going to spitball this. So for anybody that's listening to this, that listens to our Monday episodes, you know that we always say about our sponsor programs on the Discord. If you have a community or Twitch, YouTube, whatever you do, the episode that would air in the July 4th area, if you join our Discord within the next week, we'll pick one of you and give you a free 15-minute advertisement. How about that? There you go. Get in the Discord.
There you go. Get a hold of Bill if you got any questions about that too, because he's doing all that. I just do all the technical stuff. He does all the money work and the advertisement, and I guess he's got degrees in it.
Join the Discord. Yeah, well, I got a business management degree. Imagine that. They actually gave me one of them.
That's surprising.
Join the Discord, and once you join the Discord, get your roles. make a post in one of the chats and then send me a personal message. Send me a Discord DM. Let me know what you're trying to represent and why you should be picked, and then I'll pick one of you for the July 4th episode.
You can also open a ticket on there. There's a ticket system. You know, it's all labeled, and I won't bore you anymore. It's all labeled, and you'll figure it out. Anywho, Bill, I think it's time for us to sign off. I think
I got some beer to drink.
As I say, I think you need some more beer. I'm gonna go, do all the work that I normally do that you don't care about. But anywho,
don't let me edit.
No, this shit would be like listening to a 1970s record that's half of it's been scratched off on. Anywho, thank you all for tuning into this lovely Thursday episode that, again, we started talking about Russia and Ukraine and ended up how Sheetz was better than Wawa, so suck it, Wawa.
Yeah, you pricks.
Anywho, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the Monday episode for another normal episode. Other than that, have a great one, everyone. Stay safe, and have a great weekend, too. Peace.
Later.